It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
All right. Welcome to the Opperman Report. I am your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. And this show is brought to you by emailrevealer.com. You go to emailrevealer.com, get an autographed copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. Also, too, if you go to emailrevealer.com, you should just go there anyway and just check it out. It's all kind of stuff. You never know what you need. Let's say you're going through a custody battle, right? A child support case. And you need to find your spouse's current place of employment. We can do that for you at emailrevealer.com. Let's say you got a post office box, right? And the guys, you got ripped off by some company and they only got a post office box. You need to serve them with some papers. Okay. And, we can get you a real physical address, name and address behind a post office box. You need a name and address from a phone number. You need a name and address, locate somebody. You got a plate you need to run. All that kind of stuff. Fun stuff. So if you're in the PI business, a bill collector, you're a professional in the business, you can go to the website and run these searches, flat fee, no consultation. If you're a civilian, you're a regular person, you got a problem, give us a call. You hire us by the hour. All kinds of fun stuff. Infidelity investigations, digital forensics, all kind of good stuff. Okay. Hey, how about that Khalil Amani, huh? Hey, how about that? I feel like Johnny Carson. Hey, how about that Carol Wayne? How about the boobs on her? Right? How about that Angie Dickinson? How about her, man? Check out the legs on that one, the gams. Anyway, Khalil Amani, man, great stuff, man. Oh, I was just sitting there at the edge of my seat the whole show. A very fascinating story, man. He's going to come back and tell us about what his involvement with the Africa Bambaataa story. But if you enjoyed Khalil Amani, talking about his experience with the Yahweh Ben Yahweh cult, and whenever he was talking about Michael the Black Man, I have an interview with Michael the Black Man, Maurice Simonet, who is, and it's going up in the member section shortly. It'll be up there tonight or tomorrow. This is live Friday night as I talk to you here, and it's going up. We got 90 minutes of Michael the Black Man, Maurice Simonet, screaming at me. The top of his lungs, man, and you. What do you mean me? I don't support the Clintons. What do you mean me? Well, not just you, all the media. Hates them all. He hates everybody. And then he goes, he ends the show with this thing from the Old Testament about killing everybody in the land, He got memorized, man. It's some cool stuff, man. And he denies knowing law. It's just a whole different story. He just goes on and on. Then he's sitting because he does the interview from a car in a parking lot, and he starts fighting with a guy next to him in the car next to him while he's doing the interview. Oh my God, it's great stuff, man. Great stuff. So anyway, I got 90 minutes with him. I also did an interview with Barry Prince. So Barry Prince interviewed me. I'm going to put that up in the member section also as well. Got a show coming up that's going to be going probably in the member section with a group. It's a group or a movement, I don't know what you'd call it, called Men Going Their Own Way. Okay? And what this is men, mostly right-wing Trump supporters, it seems, who are fed up with feminism, and they're fed up with the unfair family court system and divorces and alimony and stuff like that. And they're fed up with dating, and they're fed up with they're just pretty much fed up with everything. They're very angry folks, it seems to me. But I don't want to get their side of it. You know me, I listen to anybody, right? Anybody interesting, you can talk to me for 2 hours. I'll sit there and listen. And I'll go, very good. I'll throw in a joke every now and then, right? What do you call it? Fascinating stuff. Some of these men, they swear off women altogether, and they're called monks. They don't even touch women. Others will go with prostitutes. So fascinating. Whole how you could come to a point like that. I could never live without women. I love women, man. Give me a pretty girl, man. I tell you, and a glass of potato juice, and I'm a happy man. And I got to segue this into my show for tomorrow. I don't know I'm going to pull this off, but I'm going to do it. Tomorrow I got Judith Reisman on, who's anti-pornography and a wonderful woman, man. I tell you, I love that woman. A national treasure. She really is. She took on Phil Donahue, and she took on Hugh Hefner, and she took on Kinsey. And find out in this interview, she also took on Mapplethorpe. Okay, and if you look him up, man, there's a picture of him holding a machine gun in front of a pentagram, the same picture, the same room as Bill Menser. Same machine gun, too, I think. And I believe that's in Roy Raden's house. So anyway, Mapplethorpe, we read Maury Terry's book, Old Kind of Connection, Son of Sam. And Judith Reisman testified against him, and she never even knew this guy's connection, so I told her about it yesterday. Then I have a woman, Donna Amaya. I think that's her name. I'm hoping. Donna Amaya, who was a victim, not a victim, a survivor, and you got to say survivor, you can't say victim, of a human trafficking. She was put into prostitution. Okay. Let me double check the name on that. Very nice woman. I enjoyed the interview. Barbara Amaya. I knew it was wrong. Barbara Amaya. And she wrote a book called Nobody's Daughter. It might have been Nobody's Girl. I'm sorry. But anyway, that's going to air tomorrow night. So it's a good show. It's a good show. It's as much as good tonight as I like tonight. Okay, as much as good. I speak good English. I speak English good. Okay. My notes are all over the place tonight. Okay. So don't expect much to make sense. It's been such a wild week, man, with all this stuff going on with this Fire and Fury and this guy Wolf, Michael Wolf, and his book, man. Just turned the whole country upside down. You gotta love it, though, man. I tell you, as all this stuff was happening yesterday on the news, and Trump sending a cease and desist letter, and Bannon, is all this craziness, this insanity. I'm watching the news, and I'm online, I'm getting all this stuff, and I'm running around the house. And so I kept running over to Vic's room and knocking on her door, and I would just open up the door and say, "You're not going to believe what just happened now." So, and then we would kind of go. So every time I would knock on the door, she started filming me. Knocking on the door, opening it up, sticking my head in and saying, "Trump just sent Bannon a cease and desist letter. Gotta go." We put it up on Facebook. It's pretty funny stuff. We were laughing about it all night long. There's not much entertaining going on around here anyway. But anyway, my notes are going to be all over the place tonight. Okay, they're going to be everywhere. And it's kind of funny. There's this, I think she's a national radio host called The Dana Show. Is that what I'm thinking of? And, when you host the show, when you're on the radio, and you listen to someone else on the radio, you can hear, when they're trying to kill time, or especially with this one here, with this Dana Show. I think she's on the Blaze, okay? And I know her voice. I hate her. But she writes these notes, and she has a couple of jokes, and she has her notes, and she's shameless because you can tell when she's run out of notes. She's still doing a show, and she runs out of notes, which happens. It happens to me all the time, And when it happens to me, sometimes I ran out of notes, right? But she runs out. She goes right back to the start of her notes. It just starts over, repeats the same thing. It goes back and repeat, and she writes a couple of jokes. It's mostly stuff in the news, and she makes a couple of jokes, and she'll just go back and tell the same joke again. I tell you, what balls! I wish I could pull that off. Sadly, I cannot. Okay, tonight is January 5th, 2018. And guess what today is, guys? It's the anniversary of the day I got married. Oh, my God. Can you believe it? Got married in the year 2000, so this is 18 years since my marriage, my wedding day. Today was 18 years ago was the day of my wedding. Oh, my God. And it also happens to be Elvis Presley's birthday, which is why I named the show what I did, what I call a King's birthday. Okay, the second is potato juice recipe. Okay, for people, I made a joke last week, okay, because they're doing this freaking construction out in front of my place. It's insane. I can't leave my house and go get my cup of coffee and my bagel in the morning. It takes me like an hour. A little trip that took me 5 minutes, and then I found a shortcut. It took me even less. I'm obsessed with finding shortcuts. But you know, I leave my my hovel here that I live in. I leave here my great new car, and there's construction right out in front of my house, and they're doing construction in this whole freaking neighborhood. They got 100 cones for everything. I don't know what they're doing. Some kind of breaking up the roads and putting some kind of pipes in, like right through neighborhoods where people live. I don't know what's going on. So big mess. So it takes me forever to get this. I was complaining about this, and I said I had to run out and get a bottle of potato juice, right? So all week long, I'm getting these messages from people saying, Ed, what is potato juice? Is that something, does that have to do with your Daniel fast, Ed? Is this a new vegan recipe? One woman sends me a message, and she says, Ed, because I got a lot of local listeners. Unlike most podcasters, I got a lot of local listeners in the local Vegas area. And she says, Ed, I know where you live, and I know your neighborhood, so I know the stores you shop. And I know you shop at Sprouts and Smith's and Trader Joe's. And I went looking for potato juice, and I couldn't find any potato juice. Where do you say you were buying your potato juice? At Smith's. Where do you get your potato juice, guys, is vodka. Okay, they make vodka out of potatoes. Okay, so the old joke is you call it potato juice. Oh, God almighty. Well, I'm going to do a show. I'm going to make some, what I'm going to do is start saving up all the emails. The emails and the comments that I delete on YouTube, all the crazy ones, you have no idea the stuff I get. You guys would not believe it. You just wouldn't believe it. I'm going to save them all, so the next time a guest bails on me or something like that, I get stuck, especially on that live show I do during the week. My God, it's a nightmare. I'll have these notes, and I could just go read through all the emails and respond to people, just the crazy stuff that people send me. The crazy stuff you would imagine. But it goes to show you, man, because, I mentioned potato juice, and I get 30 messages, man, about potato juice. That if you want to sponsor the show, if you got something to advertise, man, people definitely, they're jumping. I can mention potato juice. They're looking for potato juice. You got something you want to sell, man, I'll mention it. I can get somewhere with this thing. Okay, let's see. What am I doing here? Okay. What a crazy week, right? What a crazy freaking week. All right, here's what I want to start with. Go over here. So getting some entertainment here for you. Some news and entertainment knowledge. Break down some knowledge. Okay. Get a story comes out here in the news January 3rd. Okay. Fox 5 reports, local Fox 5 TV station. Breaking. Officer, and this is January 3rd. Remember that. Officer on the Strip accidentally shot a civilian with a rifle on the Las Vegas Strip on New Year's Eve in front of the Monte Carlo. The victim was shot in the leg. Police are calling it a negligent discharge. Victim shot in the calf, minor injuries. The officer was moving barricades, opening the street up for traffic, when his rifle fired into the concrete and the bullet bounced. Negligent discharge means the officer accidentally pulled or bumped the trigger somehow. Negligent discharges are preventable. Okay? This is not an accidental discharge, which usually means a mechanical failure. I'm reading from Fox News. This is they're reporting here. Metro tells me that the officer will be under an internal investigation and will probably not be placed on administrative leave. Of course not. You accidentally shoot somebody. Forgive and forget here. That's our motto here in Las Vegas. Okay. A cop accidentally shoots you. Forgive and forget. Move on with your life. Go on. Go home. But will probably not be placed on administrative leave. Documents related to the investigation will likely not be made available to the public. The department typically releases all body cam footage and holds a press conference for every officer-involved shooting. In this case, Metro tells me this is not an officer-involved shooting and that the department will not be commenting further. By the way, this information did not come from a press release. This information was given to us by an anonymous officer within the department, and we confirmed independently with the Metro's office, they described the entire case as minor. Metro will not release the name of the officer, but we have multiple leads. I will post that information once. By the way, too, and it's not in this, I guess it was another article, but that the guy who was shot in the leg, and there was several other people who thought they were shot, or when the bullet might have bounced off of them too, but they couldn't find any injuries on him. But this caused a little bit of a panic over there, okay? As, a gun goes off in a crowd, some goofy cop, Barney Fife, shooting his own foot, and shoots some guy, some poor tourist gets shot in the leg, and they said, well, he declined medical treatment, and he went about his way. They didn't even take the guy's name down and report his name. The cops kept this. There was a news, release about what a success New Year's Eve was. There was 12 people arrested on the Strip for drunken disorderly, and another 5 people down on Fremont Street. But otherwise, they did a great job. A bunch of heroes. Our heroes did a great job. And we know they did a great job because they told us what a great job they did. And we didn't know that, they didn't do such a great job because they shot a guy in the foot. They shot some guy, an innocent guy got shot in the leg by a cop. Okay? But they didn't tell us. That's a secret. And they're not going to tell us. And they're not going to release anything. No body camera, nothing. They're not going to tell us nothing. What does this tell us? What can we learn from this little adventure? Probably you're only hearing here and in the whole, See, I met about a good 1,000 experts on Las Vegas in the past year. Right around October 1st, I started meeting thousands and thousands of experts on Las Vegas and Las Vegas hotels and the Las Vegas Strip and where the hotels are positioned and what's the front of a hotel and what's the back of a hotel, all right, and which hotels are located where, and all about there's something called the LVPD, right, the Las Vegas Police Department, which is actually, in real life, the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. I also learned from these many experts something about the Las Vegas Coroner's Office, which is really, in real life, the Clark County Coroner's Office, okay, for anybody who lives here. And I learned this mysterious, that the Four Seasons Hotel, okay, is actually, this building is actually on top of Mandalay Bay. Okay, they have one building on top of another building, even though they have two separate addresses, two different addresses. That I'll let you know a little secret. Me and my ex-wife, 18 years ago, or 18 years ago, when 9 months or whatever, 17 years and 9 months, we had our baby shower at the Four Seasons Hotel. Okay, they have a high tea there in the afternoon. Been to this building many times. It is not the same building as Mandalay Bay. I don't care what you find on your internet or your websites. I don't give a damn. You can come down here and I'll show you in person. But I got all these thousands and thousands of experts on what happened on Las Vegas shootings and how they work and how what casino surveillance, and there's cameras on every floor in the casinos and all this wonderful information from all these wonderful people. And here we have now, no one else is telling you about this. Okay, I defy you to track down one of these experts. Okay, contacted me in the middle of the night. They want me to come on their shows and talk about the Las Vegas shooting because they're an expert on Las Vegas shooting. And I don't know what I'm talking about or what I'm doing. How many of them even know about this accidental discharge that took place by a cop and was covered up? Was covered up for days. And now it was covered up for days, and they're still not going to release it to tell us anything about it. Not only did we cover it up, but now we're blocking it. We're not telling you. All right? Because that's what happens in this town. The cops screw up, and then they cover up. That's the reality. It's not some Arab coup. Some Saudi Arabian coup. This cop didn't fall out of a helicopter. Okay. All right. Get me all upset for nothing. 20 minutes into the show. I'm almost done. I need a break. Okay, let's see here. All right, go back to my notes. I'm going to start over my notes in the beginning, just like the Dana Show does. Oh boy, and this is kind of my theme tonight. My plan tonight was to go into this whole thing about how people. It's so we're in a bad time. We're in a bad time in this country, in this world, where it's almost like the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages, the Stone Ages, where people rumor and superstition is more. Has more value than facts and reality, and that people they'll believe anything as long as it conforms with their political beliefs and their political bias, now, and that's the same thing with the Las Vegas shooting. People came up with this idea. Listen, well-meaning, there was a lot of reporting of the first that night. There was, the 9/11 calls and stuff like that. That there were other shooters at other hotels. But okay, fine. But by the next day, we knew that was all crap. We knew that was wrong. But no, people still, they had to keep, but it created a baseline of now, well, we have to keep looking here and there and watching YouTube over and over and over again to prove that thing that was wrong. Okay, fine. We took a wrong turn. Let's get back on the road. But no, they want to keep finding the wrong turn. And this applies to so many other things that's being reported in our news, and alternative media and also real media too. I don't know to call it real media, but I don't know what I'm trying to say with that. But I've been telling you from the start, when I first saw the first announcement that President Mr. Trump was going to be running for president, when he came down the escalator, and I says that this guy, the guy's a con man. He's a fraud. He's way over his head. He's going to steal everything that isn't nailed down. He's gonna wind up in prison ultimately because he just can't live up to scrutiny. He's lived his whole life as a sloppy con man, Trump University, all this kind of stuff. But people just want to believe so bad. So now we got this release of this book by this Michael Wolff. And pretty much it confirms, not by the left or the liberals or the Clinton supporters or whoever, the snowflakes. These are people that his own people he surrounded himself with are saying these things. Steve Bannon, the porn and meth guy, says it. Okay, and by the way, check out the member section too. You want to hear about Steve Bannon? I've been reporting about this guy for quite a while. Steve Bannon's Porn and Meth House, man, where we found, I interviewed exclusively, by the way. Find somebody else who interviewed him, I dare you. The gentleman who rented the house after Steve Bannon, he found signs of meth production. He found signs of porn. They were filming porn in there. He found padlocks on the inside of the doors as if someone was being held prisoner in the house. Okay? And he even mentions a human trafficking investigation. And even mentions Palm Beach. That's in my member section at OppermanReport.com. Check it out. But here we hear all this stuff about this bizarre behavior of President Mr. Trump over there in the White House, and the chaos and the confusion, and it's obvious he's getting a little senile. Even if you look at the man from the time of the debate until today, he's just not the same guy. But the guy for a long time has been known as a New York clown. One of the lines in there I found very interesting was the staff referred to Ivanka as the real wife and Hicks, meaning Hope Hicks, as the real daughter. Now, creepy as hell. Now, by the way, I met Hope Hicks. She's 29 years old now. And I met her during the campaign because I used to go I covered all the Nevada Trump rallies. And, you get into the press area, and she was in charge of the press. Very competent woman, very serious woman, very kind of marched around, in her heels and her, you know what I mean? Like kind of marched, kind of like holding a tight ship there, man. You're like captain of a tight ship. But, an impressive person. I wish I had made an effort now that I look back and see, I see this guy, this guy Michael Wolff just waltzed his way in there and got a press pass and sat down and wrote a book. I'm going to make an effort the next go around. I have these opportunities to make contact with these kind of people, to bring somebody with me. I'm now like hire an assistant, a pretty young girl, to go around and make friends with these people for me, like have your wife do, and because I'm just too cranky in person, but I'm going to try and make an effort to try and like schmooze my way into these kind of things. But my point is, though, is the same thing, okay? It's the same thing here we got with people want to believe the outcome of the Las Vegas shooting. They don't care what the reality is, what the facts are. They have an end that they want to believe that conforms with their personal biases. It's the same thing about Mr. Trump. People, they want to build a wall, and they think he's going to build a wall. These are certain gullible kind of people that kind of fell for this whole kind of thing, and now it's in their face that there's chaos in that building at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and it's a hopeless situation. But they're still clinging on. Well, no, he's going to build a wall. Now, I've been talking about these things, and there's a couple other things that came out recently. One was just recently, about a week ago, that Trump signed an executive order about human rights abuses, where he's going to seize all the property and assets of foreign citizens that are guilty of human rights abuses. And this was taken right away. This is part of Trump's big plan to round up all the elite pedophiles, because human trafficking would be synonymous with the human rights abuses. It's the same thing. Now, the thing is that there's no factual basis to come to that conclusion that this executive order has anything to do with human trafficking, has anything to do with pedophile arrest, and there's nothing even to indicate even slightly that Trump has any interest in this topic whatsoever. Now, I've had this discussion with people on the air and off the air, people in the Pizzagate, back in the Pedogate, and 4chan and Reddit and all stuff. I've had these discussions with these people, off the air. And they're always saying, first they were saying, well, we have to make Mr. Trump aware of this when he was running for office. And as soon as he gets into office, he's going to make arrests, and he's going to do all this stuff, round them all up. What they based that on, I can't imagine. But by now, there's no way you could tell me he's not aware of this. There's no way. And he hasn't lifted a finger to do anything about this. Listen to the show I do tomorrow with Dr. Judith Reisman about ElsaGate and what's going on YouTube. There's no effort being made to stop this or even slow it down. YouTube is a cesspool of this kind of stuff. Huge numbers. There's no way they could not know what's going on. Because, like I was telling Dr. Reisman, there's videos of little kids doing things that are sexual in nature. It's not pornography, it's not nudity, it's not penetration or anything like that. But they're doing things that are perverted. That it is obviously attracting millions of views and millions of likes and hundreds of thousands of comments. And some of these comments are very graphic, using obscene phrases and for sexual acts, that there's no way that YouTube cannot set some kind of software up to capture that and see, hey, we need to look at this, okay? And if this is a video of an 8-year-old, that we need to, and they're talking about this and that should trigger something, right? Don't you think? Wouldn't that be simple to do? Like if I'm Googling something for an Armor All car cleaner, and then I go on Facebook later on and an ad pops up for Armor All car cleaner, they know what I'm typing into my computer, okay, when I'm visiting, so they must know when someone says, hey, I want to rape an 8-year-old, right? Wouldn't that trigger an alarm someplace in YouTubeville, and put a stop to this? Wouldn't that be simple? So no one's making any effort to do this. No one's making it. If anything, they're making an effort to promote this. But so this bizarre theory, and a lot of this too, I lay at the feet of that Liz Kronkin, okay, who is just full of crap. Okay, she started off this article about it was in the first couple of months of Trump taking office, and she says ever since Trump's been in office, there's 1,400 pedophile arrests, and in all of Obama's lifetime, there was 200. So Trump's cracking down. He's rounding up pedophile rings, right? And, and then I kept hearing this repeated over and over and over again. People saying it to me, well, Eddie, he is rounded up. He rounded up 1,400. And I'd say, well, let me take a look at this. I didn't know who Liz Kronkin is. I didn't care. I still don't care. Liz Kronkin. She's making excuses for Trump with Epstein, Yeah, there's a lot of this stuff going on out there, guys, where people just covering up. They're trying to make you think that they're part of the good guys, but they're running interference. Why do they want you to think that arrests are being made and that steps are being taken to protect these kids when they're not? The exact opposite is happening, but they want you to think that something is happening. What benefit does that give anybody except for the people committing the crimes? So when she tells you 1,400 arrests were made and there's a brand new wave, and I looked up these cases, okay, and I found the press releases, and with the phone numbers of the police contact information in the press releases, and I called up the cops who ran the investigations, and they told me, no, this has nothing to do with Trump. These investigations have been going on for years and years, 2 years before Trump was even elected. Last year we had 400 arrests. Okay, and I called back so many times that after a while they knew my voice. As a matter of fact, I went looking for one of these press releases. They took the phone numbers down, okay, because I kept talking about it. A couple of characters targeted me for this interview. I think at the behest of Kronkin, by the way, too, because and then they questioned me. How can I say it's not true? And they kept going back to the article that was false. Now I confronted Kronkin about this. And her only response was, "Oh, he must be controlled opposition, MAGA." Now, by now, she has to know that article is complete crap, because other people have looked into it as well. And I've given the phone numbers to so many people to contact and read the press release, and the links up that there's no way she can continue this lie. But she is. Okay. Okay. Commercial. I've had it. Can't even find my commercials. Hey. It's amazing how many people message me during the show. Boy, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find my answer. Should have had them ready. Might have to play an old one. Can't find it. I'll keep looking. We got nothing else to do, right? Got this guy Sean who's doing all my editing and improving the audio. Guy in Ireland, and he redid my commercials for me. Oh, come on! Oh, I know what to do. I'll look it up. Hey. Okay, there we go. Calls it Opperman Sponsors. You should do it in an Irish accent. Okay, we'll be right back after these messages. And now a word from our sponsors. Archival Revival, the Christian Film Archive, is currently paying for vintage Christian films. They are dedicated to preserving and restoring classic Christian films and media. So if you have original prints, negatives, or other film elements of classic Christian films, or you have audio recording masters for classic Christian record albums, they want to buy them from you. So email archival.revival@gmail.com and they're going to make you an offer. Archival Revival wants to preserve these classic Christian films so that they continue saving people for years. These films have brought people to salvation. They want to continue that. Their staff has decades of experience in handling and preserving of film elements, utilize the very best climate-controlled film storage facilities around the world. Contact them today at archival.revival@gmail.com. If there's someone you know has these prints, negatives, recording masters, or other materials from vintage Christian films, you can check out their blog at archivalrevival.blogspot.com. Now, just so you understand, Archival Revival wants to pay you for these films. So you can look in your church attic, in the church basement. If you have a friend who runs a Christian youth ministry, these youth vacation Bible study camp, they have these old films in those big metal containers, 16 millimeter and 35 millimeter. Archival Revival wants to buy them from you. So this is a sponsor that actually wants to give you money. And all you have to do is contact them, tell them what you have. If you're in the UK or Ireland or Africa, these films are all over the world, and they're gathering dust, and they're going to deteriorate if they don't get into the hands of Archival Revival. So that's archival.revival@gmail.com. I don't care. Or the blog spot is archivalrevival.blogspot.com. Don't forget, this show is brought to you by pscoco.com. Phoebe Sod is an independent curator with the Cocoa Exchange. The Cocoa Exchange is formerly known as Dove Chocolate Discoveries, and they make the finest, silky, smooth chocolate because the products start with the best cocoa beans, which are tested for quality and flavor by expert technicians. The Cocoa Exchange offers not just premium chocolates, but anything from sauces and spices to brownie and cake mixes, and even coffee and martini mixes. If you wish to treat yourself or someone you love to a sweet and tasty gift, then the Cocoa Exchange is the brand for you. So you go to pscoco.com, you click on the Shop Now button. You can see all their beautiful chocolates. You can order it right now tonight. It could be in your mailbox in a couple of days. Or if you want to get into the chocolate business, you want to be a chocolatier just like Phoebe Sod, click the Contact Us button, and you can learn how to get your own website, go into the cocoa chocolate business, and sell chocolate and make a little bit of money there. Remember, all these shows on Awake are brought to you by emailrevealer.com. You can go to emailrevealer.com and get a copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. But you also do all kinds of different services for you. An online dating service investigation. It's called an online infidelity investigation. And that's where you give us your husband or your boyfriend, your girlfriend's email address, and we trace it back to their online dating websites, and we return a list of all the dating sites that email is registered to. We can expand on that investigation and trace it back to porn sites, escort service sites, swinger sites, gambling websites, and even prescription drug websites. If you think your ex-husband or something is addicted to prescription medication, or involved in an extreme online pornography addiction, we can produce a report for you that you can use in court. Adoption investigations. If you want to locate your birth parents or your birth child you gave away for adoption, we can do adoption investigations for you. Asset searches for you. Locate bank accounts, hidden assets, hidden properties, hidden income, all different kinds of services in the asset search investigation. Email tracing. If you need to locate or identify somebody from just an email address, we can do an email trace investigation for you, and all kinds of digital forensics, computer and cell phone digital forensics, where we can recover deleted content from an email or a hard drive and produce a report for you that you can use in court. That's emailrevealer.com, or you can contact me at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com. Oh, okay. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. This show is brought to you by potato juice. Get your Smirnoff potato juice. Oh my God. Anyway, so by the way, too, I just want to point out that some of the people in the chat room cracking me up, but. We got a chat room. If you listen to the show on Friday or Saturday live, okay, or I play the tape for the first time live, If you listen on Spreaker, we have a little chat room there. So if you comment in the chat room, though, you might want to come back during the week and check again, because a lot of people listen to the replay on Spreaker and stuff like that, and they trying to comment back and forth with people that were commenting days ago. So there's still a conversation going on for months and months on all these shows. So if you're active in the chat room, you might want to pop back in every now and then and see if there's any updated questions for you. Because I know they ask other people questions, And then they never got a reply. Hey. But a lot of the stations have chat rooms, too. ParaX has a great chat room. I know they do. There's always like 30, 40 people in there. People's Internet Radio has a great chat room. A bunch of Irish people in the middle of the night over there in Ireland chatting away. PSN has a great chat room, too. They use Skype for their chat room. So if you join them all, you get to know a little bit of everybody. You pop around, get to all different chat rooms. Find one where you like. There's even a couple of chat rooms, secret ones. Okay? By some obsessed listeners who all they do is complain about me and hate on me in these chat rooms, these secret chat rooms. Like, I don't know what's going on. Okay? Like, I don't know everything going on out there. Hey. Okay. Back to this whole business about Trump being a pedophile hunter. Oh, my God. What on earth? What is the basis for this theory? It just blows my freaking mind. I guess part of the problem is this Liz Cronkite BS article she wrote. Now, she's up to her own. She's got her own problems now because she made these allegations against John London's wife, who's like an Instagram celebrity. And it does appear that these two are hanging around with some people, and they made some weird comments. And there was also this whole really weird thing coming on where Chelsea Clinton comes to their defense, and then so does the Church of Satan come to their defense. And then Chelsea Clinton's wishing the Church of Satan a Happy New Year. Really bizarre. Okay, this is way out there kind of stuff. Right in your face kind of weird stuff. But that's all too much to get into tonight. We don't want to go down too many left turns. Because obviously these things are going on. Okay? And obviously there's a bunch of celebrities involved. This other guy, Uncle Terry, photographer guy who just got busted this week, The cops, the New York cops are investigating him. This guy's Miley Cyrus's photographer, He's also Obama's photographer. All these women are coming forward now saying that he molested them and he forced himself on them, and the other ones, he's taking all these perverted pictures with them. Something very strange with this guy. So there's a lot of we know this is going on, but what's not going on is anybody making any arrests or investigations or trying to stop it. And I was talking to Dr. Judith Reisman about this, and she was saying, well, we need to have congressional hearings about what's going on YouTube. And that's what we need to be doing. And she said, well, I need an attorney to sue this person. See, and that's what we need to be doing. Real action. Not imaginary pretend, make us feel good, pretending that, well, somebody's doing something. Trump is doing something for us. He's going to save the day with Trump University. Okay? We can't just pretend this is happening, that some hero's coming to save us when it's not. There's another thing going around now. Well, there's 4,000 sealed indictments. And this is Trump and Sessions, and they're rounding up all the... They got sealed indictments because if it's a sealed indictments... and there's 4,000 of them, it must be an organized crime case. And if it's organized crime, it's most likely human trafficking. And it's most likely the elite pedophiles and their pedophile rings. By the way, all these arrests you see in the Cronkite article, none of them are pedophile rings. Okay, it's that Dateline stuff where cops get on the computer. They pretend to be 14 years old, and they go to the guy's house and arrest him. That's what those cases are. Then the other ones are massage parlors, adult women working at massage parlors, stuff like that, arrests like that, or answering Craigslist ads, things like that. And then they mention that Child Protective Services took 50 kids into custody. These were children victims of pedophiles that were rescued. They were held captive by pedophile rings. That's what comes up in people's imaginations when they see this. The Child Protective Services took custody of around 50 kids who they came across during their investigation. And what that means is they would go to a guy's house and arrest him. He had kids staying at his house. So they took his kids Child Protective Services took his kids, or when they went to the massage parlor, one of the women working there had her kid with her, and then they took her kid, things like that. they're talking about. Not that these kids were victims of pedophiles. Maybe some of them were, but not 1,400 of them. That's insane. And it's made up. What's wrong with reality? How do you fix anything? If I look in the mirror and I say, "Oh my God, look at my stomach. I'm fat like a pig. I look disgusting." I got to do something about that. Okay, because I'm looking how I really look, and I don't like it. I gotta do some sit-ups, right? Okay, I can't just say, "Oh well, don't look in the mirror," or just imagine that whatever, Clark Gable or something. You know what I mean? My goodness, we gotta face reality and live in reality and do something about this stuff and pull up our shirt sleeves and roll up our sleeves and get to work. So 4,000 sealed indictments. Okay, all right. And I got all these geniuses telling me, and there's a way to look up these indictments. You use something called Pacer, okay? And I have just downloaded Pacer, and I went to the Pacer website, and I signed up for an account, and it's very inexpensive. I'm learning how to use it. We're refining our search terms. Oh, my God. All right. I've used Pacer my whole life. I've used Pacer my whole freaking life. Okay? I've used Pacer. And what it is, you look up federal court cases on Pacer, okay? And you can get to download all the pleadings and stuff, the motions and stuff, and the complaints. Anybody can do it, too. You don't have to be a PI or anything. But I'm very, very familiar with Pacer, okay? And 4,000 sealed cases on Pacer is unusual. We have a new Department of Justice, Jeff Sessions. We got a new Attorney General, and they're doing things differently. There's a lot of sealed cases. Now, all these 4,000 sealed cases, I can promise you, are not all indictments. There's many things that could be sealed. There could be 400 cases, and maybe each case has like 10 sealed search warrants or 10 sealed plea deals. There's it's 10 sealed motions or hearings. There's all things that could be sealed within these 4,000 sealed cases. They're definitely not all indictments. That I can promise you. There's no way they're all indictments. It's just impossible numerically. But people who are amateurs and don't know what they're talking about, don't know what they're doing, come to this conclusion, well, there are 4,000 indictments. And since there's 4,000 indictments, they must all be pedophile rings. Now, that's a guess, okay? And your guess is as good as mine, what these cases are, what they're about. And for some reason, your guess is that it's elite pedophile rings. Because of why? I don't know. It's because you wish it's true. Now, we have no indication otherwise that Mr. Trump, who is obsessed with Twitter, tweets about every damn thing that's on his mind, that wouldn't he mention this on Twitter? Wouldn't there be a news conference or something or a hint or anything? Nothing? He talks about everything else. He talks about nuclear war with that Kim Jong-un, with the buttons and all this stuff. That he'll talk about all day long. But this he's going to keep under his hat. It's all, he's got a plan. He's working on it. It's a whole big thing, right? Trump's undercover with his buddies Epstein. And who, by the way, you find another person on the face of this earth that's got more buddies that are rapists and convicted pedophiles and alleged pedophiles than Donald Trump. John Casablancas, Alan Dershowitz, Jeffrey Epstein, Mike Tyson, Michael Jackson. Find somebody. He's friends with Bill Clinton. He had one of these girls, the victim of Epstein, was working for him in Mar-a-Lago, 15 years old. Find someone with more connections to these crimes. Find someone out there. I can't think of anybody. Okay, but no, you're all wrong. He's fighting for it. He's secretly, we're going to send him this information. He's going to put on his cape and arrest everybody with sealed indictments. Hey, because obviously, right, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Right? Wouldn't he start with his friends? He could call up his phone, pull out his Rolodex and start busting Mike Tyson and Michael Jackson. These guys are his friends, that he's buddies with. Bunch of rapists. But no, of course not. Because that would make too much sense. Of course not. There's all the sealed indictments he's working on. Hey, now my guess, your guess is that, yeah, he's, everything we know about this guy is just a big lie by the deep state. Now Bannon's part of the deep state, right? Because he's lying about him too now. So everybody who's lying is deep state and Bannon and liberals and communists, whatever. Hillary supporters. Snowflakes. Conspiracy of snowflakes against the blizzard. So that's your guess. With the exact opposite of what logic would point to. Now, what's another possibility that these sealed cases could be about? Is it possible? Well, what do we know? Who does Trump hate? Well, he hates Mexicans, right? He hates illegal immigrants, doesn't he? Well, wouldn't these be federal cases if we would be working on a deportation proceedings or come up with some kind of or maybe these South American street gangs we have here, like MS-13, all these different groups, right? Could it be maybe they're going after something like that, like these illegal street gangs that don't have a lot of illegal immigrants in them, and that's what this could all be about? Wouldn't that be a more likely possibility? Because we know he's not going after organized crime. We know that. Not when this guy is still talking about where's my Roy Cohn. Okay. By the way, there's another one, Roy Cohn. We had a guy on the show here, a couple of them. NYPD detectives retired, talking about how they were investigating Roy Cohn for having little boys buried on his property. That's Trump's best buddy and hero, his mentor. Right? But no, let's forget that too. We have to blindfold, stick a dynamite in your ear so you go deaf and you can't see. You don't see no evil, hear no evil. Give me a break. So it would just seem to me that, or it could be these marijuana dispensaries. Okay, that's another possibility, guys. Okay. That's what all these sealed indictments are. And they're going to rush in all on one day and arrest all these people. Okay? That's what we see going on. We know he's going after undocumented citizens. We know he hates anybody who's not white and rich and billionaire. Trump's got two kind of supporters, man. Billionaires and gullible fools. And so just look at your bank account and then you can figure out which one you are. Look at your bank statement. Let's see what else is in my notes here because I'm getting tired. Potato juice is running out. What do you call it? Oh, there's so much stuff here. Well, one thing that's very interesting happened this week was they announced, I'm going to have Charles Ortel back on the show because they just announced that they're opening up an FBI investigation into the Clinton Foundation. Which is really good news. There's no doubt that the crimes that went on with that whole operation. So that would be one thing I would applaud President Mr. Trump if he did go after the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation. And ironically, how these things happen, life is but coincidences. Okay? And how these things happen, that there would happen to be, wouldn't you know, on all days, that just like the day before they announce that there's this big investigation on the Clinton Foundation, that there's a fire at the Clintons' house. Okay? And it just happened to be, in their file cabinet room. I don't know if it was their file cabinet room or not, but come on, give me a break, man. There's a fire in their house the same day that they're announcing they're under investigation. I tell you, gotta love those Clintons, man. They don't even try to hide it. They don't even try. You got the daughter wishing happy birthday to the Church of Satan. Okay? And the Clintons are setting fire to their house the day they're under investigation. You hear these stories, man. Like a guy, the cops are showing up to his house, to investigate him for a murder, and he's driving away. His house is on fire. I don't know what happened. What's going on? Oh God, you gotta love this stuff, man. Another one you gotta love is how the Senate investigators made a criminal referral on Christopher Steele, okay, because they were looking over the transcripts, and they says, well, we've discovered that he lied to the FBI about some reporters that he talked to. Now, I've been in situations in court where the judge has made a criminal referral, okay, where, you put up a witness, and the witness admits that, okay, yeah, I was involved in a crime with this guy, but he wasn't there doing, he wasn't guilty of what he's being charged with, but we are involved in these other crimes. And that comes up, that kind of thing comes up, okay? Because usually, you wind up in court because you did something, or you're involved in something. And you got a witness comes in, he's trying to help his friend, he doesn't want his friend to go to prison for something maybe he didn't do, or something, they can't legally prove that he did, And that guy winds up in the jackpot because the judge and the prosecutor make a criminal referral, all right? And this is kind of what's happened here in this situation here, because this guy, Christopher Steele, and by the way, take a look around. All the people involved in all this stuff, right? The Russians, the oligarchs, and all this cast of characters. And who's the one that gets in trouble? The private investigator. Every time. People come to me all the time. They get me on the phone. Ed, I want you to do this for me. I want you to do that for me. Ed, I want you to commit a crime for me. Okay? And I tell them, listen, man, dude, I can't do this, okay? And let me tell you why. It's not that I don't love you and I care about you. I want you to get out of trouble. Of course I do. But if anything comes out of this, if there's ever a problem with this, the one guy that's going to get in the most trouble is going to be me, okay? Because it's always the PI that they go after first. And then, in this case here, this whole Russian collusion investigation, who's the guy that they're going to go after is the PI who first reported this whole thing to the FBI. How do you like that? Unbelievable. Now, okay, fine. Technically, maybe he lied to the FBI or made a mistake in his FBI report. Okay, fine. That I can give you that. That's possible. But the thing is, I forget which Senate committee is doing it. I think it's the Judicial Committee. But whichever committee is doing this issued a press release. They made the letter, the referral letter, public. So that's for the public's consumption. They did that to influence. It's part of this campaign to dirty up Comey and dirty up the FBI and dirty up the facts that are in that dossier that Christopher Steele produced. We don't have enough time to get into all this tonight, but it just